basic manufacturing process and unit 4 lecture 79. The and this is the lecture is also continuing of the last videos and lectures non-metallic materials. Agenda for today present in the video: natural rubber, sponge, sponge of rubber, synthetic rubber, various types of synthetic rubbers. Okay. The natural rubber is the continue present Indian rubbers. Vulcanization. What is the vulcanization? Vulcanization a treatment of rubber. यानी कि repairing for rubber या treatment of rubber with sulfur or compound resulting is sulfur and compound resulting in a change in the properties of rubber is known as vulcanization. Change in the nature, the nature change of nature of the rubber, the property or is known as the vulcanization renders it used for all the sensors, used for in all sensors. Vulcanization with 1 to 5% sulfur, 1 to 5% sulfur produce soft rubber. We, whereas with the 30% 30% consent cement sulfur produce hard rubber. Increase the sulfur give harder and less flexible product. Sulfur is the harvested by the rubber when they are heated together. The 135 degrees Celsius to the 135 degrees Celsius to the 165 degrees Celsius to accelerate the process of vulcanization. Accelerated for the use of this process, vulcanization make natural rubber much less sensitive to change of temperature, more elastic and strong. The natural rubbers, the less sensitive of change in temperature, more elastic, strong, more readable, and the resistance to action for water based and ductile acids. In application of the vulcanization process, the reclimate of the rubber waste of worn out rubber articles are the treated for reuse and the reviews for obtain is called the reclined for rubber. Worn out the rubber and rubber waste. Rubber waste is clear for all the metals or other matters for the heated with the alkali solution in closed steel vessels. The corporate fiber content of the free sulfur. The treat rubber is wasted with the clean water and dry, try to get the cold of the recycling of the rubber. Reclimate of rubber is the cheaper is the in age of the uniform corporation, more durable, more elastic, compound, vulcanized and model. However, it has low elastic, low tensile strength and poor resistance to the fabrication. These are the process is the reclining of the rubber and refining of the rubber is the pure achieve for the rubber, and the procedure is applied for the compounding of vulcanization of module. The treat for rubber is wasted with clean of water, and is also made by the other the hard and alkaline solution based of the vulcans of rubber. the sponges of the rubber. It can be obtained for adding the sodium bicarbonate during the vulcanization. The vulcanization and process for other acid for the chemical compounds, the sodium carbonate, and during the and other the small portion for left and vulcanization of moistures from within the rubber is the chief for the rubber is very clean. This rubber has the better heat and sound insulating the properties of the rubber and its application. The synthetic rubber the synthetic rubber is the rubber is made by human hand and the sum of chemical compound application of the some chemical compound in the coal of treat for the petroleum in the coal and alcohol. The properties of synthetic rubber is the human hand make by the rubber and the achieve for the properties of the rubber in the natural property the change for the natural property to the humans related to the things of the properties in this generated to the nature the rubber is the working from the required requirement of the human things. The synthetic rubber has the better resistance to the light rays and whether the acid oils and greases the synthetic rubber are getting more popular and natural rubber uh, have the wider uses in the of the compound. The synthetic rubber has the better resistance to light rays, whether the acid, oil, and greases. The synthetic rubber are getting more popular than the natural rubber and achieve for wider range. The various types of synthetic rubber. The synthetic rubber are elastomers of the vulcanizable rubber like the polymer which can be stretched for less of the twice the length of the loading the in the tension and return for the its original dimensions as the son of uh, loading is the released load is the re, related to the application of the types of the properties of the synthetic rubber is the based on the application of area of the rubber is generated to the property of the rubber. Synthetic rubber, it is the most important types of the chemical composition of the synthetic rubber in human made and by hand by utilization of the manufacturing process and component of the process. The rubber is the butadiene is 75% by weight and the styrene styrene is the 25% of weight of the material and this is the chemical composition of the by application of the synthetic rubber. The nitride by rubber nitriding of the rubber it is the coplanar. It is the copolymer of the butadiene and the acrylonitrile. It possesses excellent resistance to heat, sunlight, oils, acid, and stalls for the the process of excellent resistance to heat, sunlight, oils, and acid for stall. The polychloroplane for rubber, polypropylene for rubber. It is made by the polymerization of the chloroprene and the chlorinated the butadiene. It is the properly known by it the trade name of the neuroprens or is that it is the application of the rubber various types of synthetic rubber. The butynes of rubber. It is made by the copolymerization copolymerization of the isobutylines with the small amount of use for the 1 to 5% of the isoprene. It has excellent resistance to the heat absorption of the chemicals compositions. It has also good electrical insulator properties of the rubber and the sensitive both in the process. It is used for the making the cycle and automobile tubes, hose of the conveyor belt, and tank the linkages for the insulation of high voltage and wire and cables in application of the rubbers in the very important for the application of the rubber in the electrical instruments make for the instruments and the computers application and the by using of the wire human life of the application. Poly, polysulfide rubber. And the polysulfide rubber is the composition of the sodium polysulfide and the ethylene dichloride. This is the chemical reaction is the between the sodium polysulfide and the ethylene dichloride. It is generated to the it is generated the polysulfide rubber. It a process for extremely good resistance of the properties of the polysulfide rubber. The extremely for good resistance and minerals, fuels, and solvent of the sunlight. It is used for making houses, the gasket application of the polysulfide rubbers. It is the make application of the houses for gasket cables, the governing of oil tanks, limestone is the most of very important application of the polysulfide rubber. The plastic introduction of the plastic are the organic material, the synthetic organic materials which can be mounted into the desired shape when the subjected to the heat and pressure. The desired heat and pressure. These material are prepared from natural or synthetic reagents with the without the molding compound. These molding compound are mixed molding compound are mixed with the granular or range for the before molding. And the molding procedure is the manufacturing process for the casting. In this operation is the only for the casting. The plastic are mostly used in the manufacturing of aero, aeroplanes and automobiles parts. They are also used for the making safety glass. This is also for use for safety glasses, laminated, laminated the gear pulleys, self lubricating bearings, and the application of the plastics. Thank you so much. In this video, I present for the application, present for the plastic and application of the plastic and some of chemical composition, some of the chemical reaction is made by the plastics.